Before we begin, I want to relate an experience I had last summer that changed the way I present a certain subject in my self-defense classes, and that's the subject of managing your personal space. It's about 8:30, and I was getting off work. I don't remember what I was doing exactly. I may have finished up some classes. I'm not certain. But as I'm on my way home, I needed to stop and get some gas. So I have a particular gas station that I stop at, and I stop at this gas station for a number of reasons. And if you're familiar with Memphis, it's at the corner of 3rd and Crump. Crump is sort of the unofficial boundary between downtown Memphis and South Memphis, which has a bit of a reputation. So I pull in there, and I notice something feels different right away. There is several people kind of loitering, standing around the front door of the building. And that's not usually like that. I choose that area for security purposes. It's well lit. I do pay a little bit more in gas, but it's easy in, easy exit, and it's never really crowded. I don't have a lot of people hanging around. But tonight there were several people there that just seemed a little odd. So I pull up to a pump, I get out, and I start to pump my gas. And I noticed that there's a young couple, probably in their mid-20s, walking towards me. It was a guy and a girl. And they were walking towards me. And for some reason, they spotted me out of all the people that were there and thought that I had something they wanted and that I would give it to them. So as they approached, I did something that I don't usually do with people. But given the context that night, I did. And so what it has to do with managing your personal space. We talk a lot about in the SAFE program, we talk about proxemics. And that's the spatial relationship between people, basically. And but what's important about that spatial relationship, it's important about the changes in that spatial relationship. We talk about proxemic pushes and proxemic pulls. If we have a proxemic pull, what that means is that people are going in the area for some reason, that there seems to be a movement among a crowd or among a group of people into a certain area. It could be maybe somebody's fallen. It could be there's a fight. It could be that someone is in need of assistance. It could be there's a celebrity that showed up. Elvis may have reappeared. There could be lots of reasons for that proxemic pull into that area. And there's also the concept of the proxemic push, where a group of people are moving away from a certain area. And we would look at that as probably a negative event, that there's more than one person who doesn't want to be in that area for some reason. So we would take note of that. And tonight, I would like to take that same concept of proxemics, and I would like to kind of change it a little bit and put a different word in front of proxemics and call it personal proxemics. And so what personal proxemics would mean is that it's the change in the spatial relationship between you and somebody else. And in this case tonight, I was experiencing a proxemic pull from a young couple that were coming toward me. You could also have a personal proxemic push. And, honestly, if you have a proxemic push from you, got to start wondering why. Maybe you didn't brush your teeth. Maybe you didn't take a bath. Or some reason people want to get away from you. But anyhow, I was experiencing a proxemic pull this evening for some reason. Somebody was coming towards me. They were changing the distance, changing the relationship in space between me and them for some reason. So as they got closer, what I did was I put my hand up. When they're about 10 or 12 feet away, I put my hand up and I said, "Stop. Do not come any closer. What do you want?" And they wanted money. For some reason they thought I had it. I didn't. I had a sport coat on. I wasn't feeling particularly threatened about them being there. I had my EDC, I had my gun, I had my baton, I had my knife, I had my two canisters of pepper spray, I had my tactical flashlight. I didn't feel particularly threatened that night. I felt rather ready based on what I'm seeing of them, and I didn't see any kind of threatening maneuvers or hand gestures, anything like that. but they seemed surprised by that. When I said stop, the young lady looked surprised, like no one's ever told her that before. And I think that's probably true. Probably no one's ever told them that before. But it was an example about, we don't have to let people approach us. We can stop them from approaching us. And we need to take control of that personal space around us. And just as I had told them that, and I was getting ready to try to create a proxemic push between me and them, a gentleman came out of the Exxon at the front there, and rather deliberately walked toward the three of us, and he was yelling at them to get off the lot. And I remember this very vividly. He was using words that began with the sixth letter of the alphabet in a most colorful and creative way. And he didn't seem like a cop to me. The cops don't behave like that, well, at least not the ones I'm aware of. And he's probably some kind of private security or someone that took upon himself to push people off the lot. Maybe the owner asked him to be there. But he got him off the lot, and with some verbal tussling, but he got him off the lot. But it just registered with me that that was we really need to pay attention to that. And it is okay to say no. In my classes, when I talk about this, that I have had students come up to me, especially women, who said, that what you said last week about saying no and stopping people from getting too close, I just hadn't thought about that before. And it's something we do need to think about. But anyhow, I'm taking the concept of proxemics and making it personal so that we can learn to manage our own personal space around us by recognizing proxemic pushes and proxemic pulls.